In this video, you will learn how to make and process pickled produce using a boiling water bath canner. To demonstrate the process, we will follow a recipe for bread and butter pickled cucumbers. After washing the cucumbers and onions under cool running water, cut the cucumbers and onions into uniform sized pieces. For the cucumbers, first remove 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch from the blossom end. The blossom end contains enzymes that can promote softening of the cucumber. In this example, we are slicing the cucumbers into 1/4 inch slices. For the onions, remove the outer peel and thinly slice. In this recipe, we are first going to use a dry brine on the vegetables. The dry brine will pull out water to promote a crisp texture. Evenly coat the sliced vegetables with 1/2 cup of canning or pickling salt. Gently massage the salt into the vegetables. Cover the vegetables with 2 inches of ice and refrigerate for 3 to 4 hours. The ice will help prevent softening. Remove the ice and drain the vegetables in a colander. Notice the water in the bottom of the bowl. Some of the water is from the ice melt, but it is also water that was pulled out of the cucumbers and onions. This process will help with a crisp texture since we will be using the hot pack style. To make a pickling liquid, combine the spices and seasonings together in a large pot. The pot needs to be large enough to hold the pickling liquid and the vegetables. In this example, we are combining granulated sugar, mustard seeds, celery seed, and turmeric. We did not need to add additional canning or pickling salt because the vegetables were coated in the salt during the dry brine. Add the 5% acetic acid vinegar to the pot. In this example, we are adding 4 cups of vinegar. Stir until the sugar is dissolved. Then heat the pickling liquid. Bring the pickling liquid to a boil. Allow the pickling liquid to boil for 10 minutes. Add the vegetables to the boiling pickling liquid. Stir. Slowly return the mixture to boiling. Once the pickling liquid has returned to boiling, it is time to fill the jars. Sterilized quart jars have been kept warm in the boiling water bath canner. We are going to fill the jars using the hot pack style. To minimize mess, place a funnel in the jar opening and ladle the cucumbers, onions, and pickling liquid into the jars. A headspace of 1/2 inch is needed for this pickle recipe. It is important to add enough liquid to each jar with the cucumbers and onions. Using the other end of the headspace measuring tool, scrape down the sides of the jar to remove any air bubbles. Use the headspace measuring tool or a ruler to measure the headspace. Add additional vegetables and liquid if needed and re-measure the headspace. Wipe the rim of the jar with a clean towel so no pickling liquid residue interferes with the sealing compound. Place the metal lid flat on the rim and secure the metal screw band until fingertip tight. This will hold the lid flat in place while processing. Return the filled jar to the canner to hold it warm until all the jars are filled and ready to be processed. Fill the remaining jars, remembering to remove any air bubbles and measuring the headspace. Once all of the jars are filled and returned to the boiling water bath canner, check the water line to ensure it is still 1 to 2 inches above the top of the jars. Add more water if necessary. Bring the water to a boil. The processing time starts once the water in the canner is boiling. Once the processing time is complete, turn off the heat and let the jars sit in the canner while the water cools slightly. Carefully remove the canner lid by opening it away from you so any remaining steam flows away. Remove the jars using tongs or a jar lifter. Let the jars cool on the counter. Do not force cool the jars as this can impact the seal. As the jars cool, you may hear a clicking sound as the vacuum is formed and the lid flat is suctioned to the jar. Once the jars are cool enough to touch, check the seal of each jar. If a jar did not seal, reprocess with a new lid flat or store in the refrigerator